Many thanks for clicking on to attheraces.com as we look forward to the Royal Meeting and the other Group 1 on the opening afternoon. Well, alongside the St James's Palace and the Queen Anne's, the King's Stand Stakes, which this year looks a really hot race. Black Caviar scared many horses away from the Diamond Jubilee, and we've got the likes of Bated Breath for Roger Charlton, Hortensia, the Dubai winner for Paul Mazzara, Prohibit, Amor Propera, Soul Power, Whizkid, Hoofit, Tangerine Trees and Margot Did. A whole host of Group 1 winners in that race. And to look through the key contenders, we've got Jason Weaver and Andy Gibson to guide us through. And this is shaping up to be one of the races of the meeting, Andy. Plenty of Group 1 winners in there.
It is, and it's definitely a race that I think to get stuck in from a betting point of view as well. The interesting thing with this race is that the market has been formed on good ground form. So you've got Bated Breath, Soul Power and Hortensia, the first three in the betting, all need good to firm ground, and yet we know the probability at this stage is that the ground is going to be good to soft or possibly even softer. This was definitely a race to get stuck into.
It looks a wide open renewal, especially with the ground riding as it is. Now, one of the favourites for this is Bated Breath, trained by Roger Charlton. And Jason, a horse who's been campaigned largely over longer distances. We can see him finishing second here at Woodbine, but he was dropped back down to the 5 last time and they pulled it off.
Yeah, he managed to win really well last time. This is over at Woodbine, of course, in the Nearctic Stakes Grade 1. Regally Ready gets the better of him on this occasion, and one or two people thought he was arguably a touch unlucky. Now this, again, we're going to touch on this a little bit later on. This is a yielding Woodbine track, but probably equates to something like our good ground. If you look at his overall profile, he was very impressive, yes, I'll agree with you, up at Haydock, and he seemed to travel particularly well, which is good. But his overall profile on good to soft and soft ground is not very good at all. He really doesn't seem to get hold of it anywhere near as good as quick ground.
He doesn't. He seems to be suited by a quicker surface. To what extent do you think he's only coming here because of the Black Caviar Challenge? A few of these horses have sidestepped her, and his best form has been over the 6 furlongs, Andy.
Well, he's also been backed for the Jubilee later in the week, of course. So I think it's open at the moment which race he's going to go for. If he goes here and it's good to soft ground, he's going to be on softer ground on the Tuesday. I would certainly think he's a favourite we should be opposing.
So we're keen to take on Bated Breath. Well, Hortensia, trained in Australia by Paul Mazzara, she was close to retirement. She then changed stables. She's gone to Paul Mazzara. And Jason, she's 3 from 3 for new connections.
Over at Meydan, of course, in the Al Quoz Sprint, she manages to get the better underneath Craig Williams. Now look about this for a cool ride. Just now easing towards the outside, held up in the back of the pack, settled well in rear, smooth headway, and under that familiar Skippy, as he's affectionately known in the weighing room, Craig Williams drive, he settles it down the outside, getting the better of none other than Soul Power, a wonderful performer. But again, I would have to question as far as the ground is concerned.
That's the question when he's at Soul with that horse of Paul Mazzara is the ground. She showed a really impressive turn of foot out in Meydan, Andy, but that surely is going to be detrimental on the soft ground here.
Definitely, and I mean on that occasion I think she won despite the circumstances of the race. She definitely, Soul Power had the better trip on the day, I think the kinder trip. Soul Power was going in a straight line all the way. She had to come round, pull right round horses. She probably lost a length and a half, and I would have said on good to firm ground she would have been my #1 bet. On good to soft ground you'd have to oppose her as well as Soul Power, of course.
And Soul Power, Jason, another horse who's really suited by a quick surface.
Yeah, I think that if you looked back, Spirit Quartz absolutely wiped out Soul Power up at Haydock behind Bated Breath, and he was very lucky indeed to finish as close as he did. He was just taken out at the start of the race. We've known Eddie Lineham's been straight down the line with us. He's one of those. He's a sprinter that's got a walk and a trot or flat out, so he just needs him to go rattling quick pace, but ground dependent.
Yeah, he won the Nunthorpe a couple of seasons ago at 100 to 1 when he got his quick ground and a quick pace as well. Well, let's have a look back at last year's King's Stand. The winner was Prohibit for Robert Cowell, a really heartwarming success. But Andy, Prohibit, since that win, just doesn't seem to be at the same level he was last year. Yeah,
but that's partly disguised perhaps by him just going to Meydan and having 3 runs in Meydan, and maybe that's the top and bottom of it. He was unlucky after this. He was unlucky in the Nunthorpe. He was drawn on the wrong side. He almost won the Nunthorpe. He finished close up in the Abbey. He's clearly just about our best 5 furlong sprinter, very close to it, and he's massively overpriced in this at 14s and 16 to 1.
Similar for you, Jason, or does he look to be a shadow of his former self?
I'm not somewhat much sure about it being a shadow of his former self. I can nearly guarantee that Robert Cowell will bring him back to the boil nicely for Royal Ascot. When he originally went to Robert, they didn't expect him to all of a sudden turn up to be a Group 1 sprinter. You know, he's trained by John Gosden beforehand, and then he's come, and Robert's just slowly turned him around into thinking he's very, very good. The runs over in Meydan, you'd nearly say that it was he was entitled to take his chance out there, and it's a fantastic trip for all the owners involved as well. You know, a great time to go out there. This has been the big aim as far as he is concerned, but he needs a strong pace to run at.
Okay, so last year's winner needing a strong pace to return and win for the second year. Another contender who was disappointing in the race last year was Tangerine Trees. He finished down the field on that occasion. He was 19th, but he improved through the season, and he went on to win a Group 1 over in France in the Prix de l'Abbey.
Yeah, and this horse, I mean, an Abbey winner at 25 to 1 for this race. It's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, the reason we've got the price is because he finished, what was it? I think it was 7th last time in the, was it the Palace House last time?
Temple Stakes.
Temple Stakes, thank you. So, you know, the reason we've got the price is because he finished down the field last time. But it's interesting that last year, when he ran in this race, I think he came just about last, but he was badly drawn. He was on the wrong side, and it was his third run in 45 days. He's better as a fresh horse. It's interesting that he's been brought back later this time. He's coming here as a fresh horse. I would have thought that on good to soft ground, I wouldn't want it that much soft. He's won on soft, but I'd prefer good to soft ground for him. I think he's more likely winner than the 3 original favourites that need the good to firm ground.
And Jason, this horse, he was behind Bated Breath up at Haydock in the Temple Stakes, but he led the field. He was giving away weight. It was a perfectly satisfactory comeback. I
think it was a real good return for him. The thing that slightly puts me off is he was knocking around in little tiny little sprint handicaps for a long, long time. It's only his 7 last runs that he's jumped up to listed, jumped to Group 3, jumped to Group 1s. You know, it's only then he started sort of banging around with the big boys. I'd like to see a little bit more zip, but, you know, he'll be on the premises. He's one of those who could surprise.
And Hoofit, another one we should mention, Andy, he was 5th in the Duke of York last time out. Another one who'd been knocking around in handicaps and has yet to really prove himself in group company. And
certainly over 5 furlongs. I think that if Hoofit runs here, I would have thought that would be to avoid Black Caviar with this one. I would prefer him over 6 furlongs. I think he'll get outpaced here. And, you know, the other thing is he'll absolutely have to track the right pace. And that's far from a given at Ascot, isn't it?
So far, he's been the big boy, hasn't he? Bully at, you know, carrying 10 stone.
He's got the size to carry the weight as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, so it's just whether he's got the zip, I feel.
So they are some of the key contenders for the King's Stand Stakes. It's time to find out, though, what's going to win. Jason?
I'm going to have to go with a more prop. I think that he's massively overpriced. I believe that he's, of course, when he won the Cornwallis, that was on very soft ground. He was nigh on favourite for one of the big sprints at Royal Ascot. He's overpriced and he'll love the underfoot conditions. And Andy, I guess you're quite keen from what you were saying, Tangerine Trees? Well, no, I mean, I'll back Tangerine Trees at probably on the exchanges at a big price. But I backed on Monday, I backed WizKid at 12 to 1. WizKid was very close up in the Nunthorpe, again from the wrong side. I think that's probably got a favourite's chance of winning this race. I don't think the 12 to 1's available now. Prohibit I've thrown in for my each-way multiples. WizKid, Prohibit, with a couple from the other sprint. So WizKid and Prohibit would probably be my 1-2. Tangerine Trees on the day, I'll probably back at a big price. So there we go, WizKid and also Amor Prop, the 2 selections from Jason and Andy in the King's Stand.